What's up guys, the OG is back. This is the latest Savage XL 5.9 from HPI Racing. I've had this for quite some time right now. I've been meaning to unbox it and do the video, but honestly I've just been so busy. So I'm thankful to have some time to unbox it and show you guys what's inside. So this is what's in the box. Well, what's in the first box. So just a quick look at the box. It's really cool looking. As always, HPI does a great job at marketing their RC cars, and you can tell they have the features that they've updated, such as the hex hubs and the wheels and a bunch of other things, and some distinct features like the single shocks, which I'll get into later. But I don't want to talk too much about this. I just want to show it to you real quick and then go straight to bashing, which is what you guys want to see. So. I'm super glad they brought back the OG basher. I think this really started it all for bashing for everybody. At least when I was a kid, the Savage was just the it car, along with a bunch of others like the Tamiya Nitrogen, the Tamiya TNX and whatnot. But the Savage really was the one that can take a beating. So anyways, I'm not going to talk too much about it. This is it outside of the box. Little details which I'll get into right now, but for the most part, I'm just anxious to get out and run it because I know that's what you guys want to see. You want to see this thing rip around, and I'm really excited to just, go for it. So let's do the quick video and let's head outside. So here's the chassis underneath the cover, and the first thing that at least I noticed compared to the predecessor was the fact that we have single shocks. Now, I was really critical about this when I saw it online on HPI's website, and I thought, maybe they're doing that to cut costs, etc. But from what I've seen from people who have reviewed this monster truck before me on YouTube, I've seen that they love the way this thing handles and the way this thing behaves, and the shock setup actually really works very well for this. So that's something that we're going to test out. Another thing that I've seen is the fact, compared to the predecessor, is you could tell how much charge you had before, and for some reason they did a delete over here, like a delete. This used to be where you could see the charge. Anyways, another thing I noticed with many models these days, and I don't know if they're doing this to cut costs, while I love the aluminum polished pipe and it looks great, HPI used to always have their logos etched in the metal, which they don't really do that anymore, and that's kind of disappointing because it was nice to see that it looks authentic and it is a genuine HPI product. Because you pay more for HPI products, you might as well have their logos or their brands on the parts they give you. But yeah, and this F5.9 engine is said to have more power than the predecessor, the K5.9 engine. And yeah, what it comes with is this transmitter, the TF50. I like the design of HPI's transmitters. I like the RF40, I like the RF41. They're great. And to start this big block over here, the 5.9cc, you have the roto start, and you have the roto start tip as well, which is detachable. Let's get it in there. Come on. So I like that it comes with the engine roll cage to protect your engine since this is an extreme basher, in case any rolls, etc. What I don't like about this is the tank setup. I don't know why they don't put any rubber O-rings or something here to kind of insulate the fuel tank from, look, I mean, when the engine is vibrating like crazy and the car is jumping or whatever, this is really very fiddly, and that's something that I don't really like. These linkages are also something that I really dislike on the Savage, and I might change those. They're not the best. But yeah, it is a great RC car. This is one of the best RC cars you can buy for bashing. And these things are kind of minor. The 3-speed gearbox, from what I've seen, people on YouTube complain that that it's not shifting, but I was told HPI updated those features. So let's see. And this is where you kind of adjust the transmission. This is where you mess about with it, and you can kind of change the shifting points. Unfortunately, for second gear, you need to take out the whole gearbox, and you need to adjust the clutch shoes and adjust the locking springs. So one more thing that I didn't mention are the fact that they updated the wheels, and for those that don't know, the hex nuts and the hex hubs are way better than the previous generation XL, because they used to strip so much and they were pretty much useless because they went directly onto the wheel. This time you can actually, you know, use it just like a buggy or a 8-scale buggy or a truggy, which is fantastic, and I think they should have done that from a long time ago. Okay, so we're gonna throw this on there, throw the engine roll cage on there, and head outside. I am not touching this thing. It is going out bone stock, and I'll see if there's going to be any technical difficulties with the gearbox or with anything else. And I know a lot of people complain about the differential, just like many RTR models come with pretty crappy differentials. So if I have to change those, then so be it. But for now, I'm just going to try to run it as is and see how it holds up. So fingers crossed. Let's go. Let's get to it. Alright, so I decided to put the VP Racing 20% nitro, because for break-in periods I like to use a little less nitro content, just because I'm not really moving very fast and there's no air cooling, and this is an air-cooled engine, so I want to keep the heat a little bit low. Doesn't really matter how much the oil is. It can be a race blend, it could be a bashing blend, but mainly the nitro content to be a little bit down. Anyways, it's going to be the first start, so let's see. Before we get to the driving video, a quick thing that I did was stabilize the fuel tank. So remember, it was flopping around everywhere. Now it's just very solid. And that was a quick and easy fix, just by adding an extra O-ring on top of the clips here. That kind of, you know, wedges it not too tight in there, but wedges it pretty good in there. And another thing is, I noticed that even when you do that, the plastic here still taps on the aluminum frame. So what I did is I got a piece of double-sided tape, the one with foam on one side and double-sided tape on the other, and I cut it just to be thick enough to fit with the tank, you know, sitting naturally, not bent in and not obviously stressed and bent outwards, just kind of parallel to the chassis, the aluminum frame. So yeah, that's the first thing that I think will make a big difference in, you know, not damaging the fuel tank, but also shaking the fuel and having maybe a possible leak. These things do sit pretty tight, but they can leak, and they have leaked before, and might continue to do so. Alright guys, so the moment we've been waiting for, including myself. I've been so anxious to finally get this thing out of the house, so let's go. What you see here happening is the battery inside is running on very low voltage. This is all I have to turn the wheel with. So slow, very, very slow. Not utilizing the full potential of the servos, which is pretty bad when you have something this powerful. So unfortunately, what sucks is that I'm not able to, you know, maximize the full potential of the Savage. I wanted to do some more backflips and stuff like that, but right now with this battery, it's literally junk. And unfortunately, I have some spares, but they're not with me right now. Right, guys, so here she is, straight from the bash. I didn't even clean it yet, so there's still mud in certain places and it's pretty dirty. So anyways, I just wanted to say that, you know, I didn't expect it to last and handle a beating as much as I thought it would, because, you know, I've been seeing a lot of videos showing how the gearbox has issues, showing how the differentials have issues, but I've ran it bone stock, and honestly this thing took a lot of abuse on and off camera, and so far I'm trying to look and, you know, inspect for signs of, you know, any damage or whatnot. I can't even find anything, and I am pretty impressed with the body shell. I mean, this is a very durable polycarbonate body. It did take a few tumbles and some harsh hits and land upside down, and I don't even see any dents or let alone scratches or chips in the stickers. So it still looks fantastic. And yeah, so like I said, no 3-speed gearbox issues. The gearbox was shifting beautifully. All I had to do was just adjust the third gear screw to make it shift later, because from factory I think these things shift too early, so you don't really hear it shift very well. It just goes through the gears very quickly, like bop bop bop. I like kind of to give it time between first gear, second gear and third gear, so you can hear the shifts shift properly. So I like my shifts at almost before hitting the well, it doesn't have rev limiter, but almost before hitting the max RPM on the engine. So yeah, just to take a look underneath. All right, here we are underneath, and like I said, I've been inspecting this thing for like loose screws or something. I was sure something must have broken, or something must have been, you know, misplaced or whatnot. It doesn't necessarily have to be damaged, but I was sure something moved at least, and honestly nothing moved. The only thing that I regret is putting the crappy old battery, which kind of limited my runtime, and I'll probably be back out with this thing with a brand new battery. See, I have this old battery here and it's just completely shot. So yeah, and the servo saver on this thing is amazing. I mean, this thing, obviously, because it is a basher, it is built by HPI to kind of, you know, with the whole beating process in mind. Like, it is built to take the abuse, and just, you know, the design of these things are just meant to handle the rolls and the bumps and all that stuff. And yeah, it's just, honestly, very pleased with it. And again, I think HPI must have addressed those issues, because like I said, after watching all those videos, I thought that for sure the differential was gonna be destroyed. I thought for sure I was gonna have 3-speed issues. None of that happened, and it is bone stock. I didn't have to purchase any upgrade parts, and honestly, I am not gonna do that. I'm just gonna keep running this thing until something goes wrong. If it's not broken, don't fix it. And so far this thing is running perfectly, with the exception of my mistake, which I put the wrong battery in there. But still, got a little bit of time out of it, and yeah, just interesting. A lot of people have been asking me about the shocks, like why don't they have double shocks compared to the previous model, and I have no answer for that. It just, as is, it drives great, handles the jumps great, and I think you can add another shock. Not that you would need to, but there is the position for it. It's exactly like the old XL. So these are the arms. You still have, and you can also reposition the shock itself. You can change it. So it's up to you to kind of explore with this stuff. Again, I'm going to leave it as is. Very happy with this kit. I think it is an awesome basher, just because it is, you know, a monster truck, and the wheelbase is kind of short with big wheels. It's not like, you know, a Truggy, or it's not like something kind of like the Losi 8 RTR, things like that, which are, in my opinion, much more stable. This thing at high speed is very, very twitchy. Yes, it is a great basher. Yes, it's fantastic, but I would be careful where I, you know, bash and hit full throttle. I wouldn't want to do it around crowded areas, because if this thing rolls and tumbles, there is no stopping it. It just keeps going and going and going. Because again, this does pack a punch, and it's pretty powerful. When I get new body shells, or in general after I wash them with soap and water, I rub them sometimes with alcohol, and then I spray like a ceramic coat, exactly the same thing I would do with the real car or the race car or whatnot. So I do ceramic coat my RC cars. Call me paranoid, call me stupid, that's just how I do it. So anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed the video on this lovely little monster, the Savage XL 5.9, and as always, I will see you next time. Ciao.